Picture this. Your team pours months of effort into a high-stakes IT project. The pressure is on, tight deadlines, stretched budgets, and ambitious goals. But suddenly, the project hits a wall. Deadlines slip, costs skyrocket, frustrations grow, trust erodes, and progress stalls completely. Why does this happen so often? And more importantly, how can it be avoided? Stick around, because we're about to uncover the truth. Hi, and welcome to Insight Tech 360. Today, we're tackling a critical topic: why IT projects fail, and more importantly, how you can avoid these common pitfalls. According to the Standish Group's Chaos Report, only 16.2% of IT projects are delivered on time, within budget, and meeting all requirements. Shockingly, 31% are canceled entirely, while 53% face significant challenges. Adding to this, a 2020 CISQ report revealed that unsuccessful development projects cost U.S. firms an estimated $260 billion annually, and the total cost of operational failures due to poor quality software is a staggering $1.56 trillion. These numbers highlight just how high the stakes are. So let's dive in and uncover the reasons behind these failures and how to turn them into success stories. Planning and goal setting lay the foundation for any successful IT project. But too often, unclear objectives and unrealistic expectations derail progress before it even begins. Without measurable goals aligned to business needs, teams struggle to stay on track. Effective planning means defining clear outcomes, anticipating risks, and setting achievable timelines. It's not just about starting strong. It's about setting the project up for long-term success. One major obstacle in planning is unclear objectives. The Standish Group's Chaos Report reveals that 37% of projects fail because their goals aren't well defined. Without clear direction, teams lose focus, priorities shift, and projects spiral off course. The fix? Start by defining measurable, business-aligned goals that provide clarity and purpose for every stakeholder involved. This ensures everyone is working toward the same outcome. Another challenge is unrealistic expectations. Overpromising on what can be delivered often leads to significant cost and timeline overruns, a pattern highlighted by the Harvard Business Review. Setting ambitious goals is important, but they must also be realistic. Build a strong foundation by creating achievable timelines and budgets that reflect the project's complexity and available resources. When expectations are managed properly, teams are better equipped to deliver results on time and within budget. Even with solid planning, execution challenges can quickly derail an IT project if they're not managed effectively. The first challenge is poor stakeholder engagement. According to the Project Management Institute, projects with strong stakeholder involvement are 15.9% more likely to succeed. When key players aren't engaged, teams can lose alignment and valuable input comes too late. The solution? Engage stakeholders early in the process and maintain open, consistent communication to keep everyone on the same page. Another major hurdle is scope creep, where a project's scope expands beyond its original goals. Gartner reports that 78% of projects face scope creep, often due to unplanned features or poorly managed requirements. This strains resources and delays delivery. To avoid this, implement strict change control processes to evaluate and approve changes carefully, ensuring they don't derail the project's primary objectives. Finally, inadequate resources remain a critical issue. McKinsey highlights that 45% of large IT projects exceed budgets, often due to insufficient funding or a lack of skilled personnel. To address this, it's essential to plan budgets realistically and allocate the right expertise at every phase of the project. Without adequate resources, even the best execution plans can fall apart. Even with careful planning and execution, technical and process failures can undermine an IT project's success. Let's explore 3 critical areas where things often go wrong. First, inadequate testing. The Project Management Institute highlights that insufficient testing is a leading cause of post-launch failures. Skipping or rushing testing phases leaves critical bugs undetected, leading to costly issues later. The solution? Adopt iterative and automated testing processes to catch problems early and ensure consistent quality throughout development. Next is poor project management. According to the Standish Group's Chaos Report, 47% of failed projects cite poor management as a key factor. Lack of clear leadership, disorganized processes, and inadequate oversight can derail even the best ideas. To overcome this, invest in skilled project managers who can apply structured methodologies and guide teams toward success. Finally, technological challenges often arise when outdated or misaligned systems are used. McKinsey & Company notes that poorly chosen technologies frequently derail projects. Choosing the wrong tools or failing to integrate systems can create inefficiencies and bottlenecks. The fix? Select technologies that align with your project goals and ensure they're scalable and compatible with existing systems. In the early 2000s, the United Kingdom launched an ambitious initiative called the National Program for IT, or NPFIT. The goal was to modernize the NHS with a unified IT infrastructure. The program aimed to revolutionize healthcare by introducing electronic patient records, online appointment systems, and integrated IT solutions. While the program initially had a budget of £2.3 billion, costs spiraled over time, with the final expenditure exceeding £10 billion. Despite this massive investment, the program is widely regarded as one of the most expensive IT failures in history. The coming diagram perfectly illustrates the disconnects that plagued the NHS National Program for IT and ultimately led to its failure. The initial project requirements were vague and overly simplistic. Terms like improving efficiency and modernizing healthcare sounded great in theory, but lacked the depth and detail needed for execution. With incomplete requirements, the architecture team created a system design that didn't fully align with the real-world needs of end users, primarily the doctors and nurses who would rely on it daily. Development proceeded based on this incomplete design. As a result, critical features were either missing or implemented in ways that were cumbersome and inefficient, further widening the gap between the system and user expectations. When it was time to roll out the system, the deployment was rushed. Integration with existing NHS infrastructure was poorly planned, leading to delays, errors, and frustration among healthcare providers. Once issues emerged, the support team scrambled to patch problems and address user complaints. But by this point, trust in the system was already eroding, and fixes felt like band-aids on a broken foundation. Ultimately, the delivered system didn't meet the actual needs of doctors and healthcare workers. What they truly needed was a practical, user-friendly tool that integrated seamlessly into their workflows, something the project failed to provide. So, how can you prevent IT project failures? By focusing on these 5 key practices. Define clear, measurable goals that align with your organization's business strategy. A solid foundation starts with clarity. Engage stakeholders early and often to ensure alignment, avoid miscommunication, and build trust throughout the project. Control scope changes using a structured change management process to prevent scope creep from derailing your timeline and budget. Test thoroughly at every stage of development to identify and fix issues before they become costly problems. And finally, monitor progress with KPIs, adjusting plans as necessary to stay on track and deliver value. By following these practices, you can set your project up for success and avoid the pitfalls that derail so many IT initiatives.